Melissa Bondi here, and this is Let's Watch with the Ann Arbor Film Festival. Skilled artists from all over the world come together annually to honor the art of film. They let you into their imagination and their creative process through media and performances at the coveted Ann Arbor Film Festival. Joining me today is Executive Director Leslie Raymond to give us details on the 2020 festival. Welcome.
Thank you.
Happy to have you back. I think this is, what are we in, season 4, 5, 6? Oh my God.
I know. You guys have been doing some great work with us.
This has been so fun. So yeah, we've had great success. I think your festival is for
50. We're going to be 58 this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just as popular as ever. So there's no slowing down for you guys.
That's right. We saw a 20% bump in ticket holders last year.
Really?
Which is really cool.
That's amazing. Okay. Well, for 2020, Leslie, tell us, what do we have to look forward to this year? What's different? Changing it up.
Yeah, one of the exciting things this year is that we're having performance artist Pat Olesko join us. Okay. She's going to be our guest of honor we do a little fundraiser on opening night, and we'll be honoring her. She was the founder, George Manupelli's student at University of Michigan back in the 60s, and she sort of, as she was getting her start in performance, she was helping with the film festival, screening films, and she would come to the film festival screenings dressed in costume, elaborate costumes, very outlandish, and she herself is over 6 foot tall woman, so she had a very strong presence. And so she would appear and do interesting things. One of the things that George Manupelli, who's a great storyteller, he would say, one year she came dressed as a giant penis and sat in the audience and would rise to the occasion. I don't know if we can put that on cable access, but anyway, so when we talked with her about honoring her at the festival this year, she got excited to come back and do a series of short performances, like 3 to 5 minute performances, and she'll be appearing 4 different times throughout the festival, preceding some of the shorts and competition programs. So that is a very cool, fun thing to look forward to this year that will be different.
Okay. So do you, every year, is there new elements that, with most annual events and things like that, there's always a new element of surprise when you have something that's been going on for 59 years. So is that something you can see? Well, we'll see how it goes this year, but is that what you guys, like, brainstorming throughout, from the last one? Is that what you're doing?
Right. You know what I would say is, what we really look to is, since we are a primarily films and competition festival, I think we have this year 14 shorts and competition programs. We'll show 9 or 10 feature films. Then we have maybe 8 special programs and some other little satellite things that happen, but we look to the contemporary work that is sent to us. This is the most, of the moment work. We look for, we kind of have a stipulation that it shouldn't be more than 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old when they send it to us, but out of 3,500 entries this year from all over the world, I think we're programming about 145, 150 films in competition, shorts and features total. So what we're looking at is really the cream of the crop. And we sort of look to the films themselves to bring the content. So instead of us saying, oh, we have a theme, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that, what we really want to do is showcase the best of the best in that experimental, avant-garde, and independent work that comes to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, walk us through then the program.
Sure.
So if I'm new to the festival, I'm coming.
Yeah.
What's the first thing I need to do?
Right. It's very overwhelming. When you look at the program, it's like, whoa, there's 40 things on this page. I don't know, how do I start? In regards to a little bit of orientation, I would say, kind of to get your mind in the right mindset, because we have a pretty good reputation. We've been around a long time, and we're world class, in our category of experimental avant-garde. We're at the top of the pile. So there can be some buzz around us, and then somebody might, I'm going to try it and check it out. So one of the challenges is that you're coming to see these avant-garde films, and we all know film language. So we all grew up watching the movies and stuff, so we know, for example, if you see a house on the screen, and then we see people talking. That's probably the house shows us where the people are, and now we're inside. So we all innately know this language. So when you come to our festival, the language is often different.
Okay.
So it's like you think you're going to walk into a room and everyone's speaking English, but they're speaking Japanese maybe. So to keep an open mind that there's different ways to communicate.
Sure.
Like if you've ever traveled to a country where
you
didn't speak the language. So, and then also to think about, I'm not necessarily going to the Cineplex, I'm going to the museum or the gallery. And so I would say there's a direct parallel between the kind of work we show and like if you go to the museum and you look at a painting or a sculpture, that's the kind of interaction. It's sort of, sometimes it'll stand right out and you'll get a direct hit off of it, and sometimes you have to work a little harder to understand what's going on.
Okay.
And sometimes, there is no meaning to it. But if you're new to the festival, I will say that some of the most fun things to go to, opening night is really fun.
Yeah.
Also known as the best party in town.
Okay.
We do a big party where we have a lot of our local restaurants who come and serve food there, and we have an open bar, and it's just a really fun kind of hour and a half before the first program plays.
Okay.
And that, come to the party and or come to Films in Competition 1, which is at 8 o'clock that opening day, Tuesday, March 24th. The party starts at 6:30. Films in Competition 1 starts around 8 o'clock, and that gives you a nice kind of taste of a group of different types of films. You'll see documentary, experimental, narrative, and animation all mixed together, and we like to do that in the Shorts and Competition program. So that's a great one to get started at. Our animated Films in Competition program on Friday night at 9 o'clock is a very popular one. A couple of years in a row, we had 1,000 people at that program.
Wow.
I will still say it's not your typical animation. Things might be much more out there or unusual. So don't come thinking you're going to watch the Cartoon Channel or something like that. And then the third one that a couple more that I would strongly recommend. We have a Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, almost all ages. Fondly referred to as the kids program sometimes, but it's really for everybody. And I would say it's an accessible program, a mixed program. It's content and attention span appropriate for kids 6 and up, but we find that that's a program that a lot of adults really like.
Okay.
And then the final one I'll say, if you're a newbie, come to the awards night, which is Sunday. There's a 5 and a 7 o'clock show. So our 3 distinguished jurors who come and watch everything, they have about $22,000 of awards, mostly cash, some in kind, and they give those out to the filmmakers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's something else that we had talked about, and actually Dana had mentioned, and she had made Dana's watch list.
Sure.
So this is something I thought it was important to talk about.
Sure.
She's going to walk in maybe in night 2, and she's already going to know what she wants to see because she's already researched.
Right.
So she's now walking in going, oh my gosh, what should I watch? What's on? What do I see?
Right.
Because there's so much to choose from.
That's right.
And is this something you encourage then?
I do encourage that, but also...
This seems really organized to me, and I loved it.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? I would also say that when do you have time to go?
Go when you have
time.
Go
when you have time. And also expect that you're not going to like everything.
Okay.
Go to a Shorts and Competition program. You might really love 3 or 4 of the films. There might be one that you're like, oh, I didn't like that at all. And it's okay to walk out in the lobby and wait for the next one.
Is that okay? Is
totally
that not right etiquette? I mean,
totally
what that means at the movie theater on a Friday night when people walk out.
Sure, it's like, ooh. But I think everybody recognizes everything isn't for everybody. So
okay.
Yeah, it's totally cool, And when you get to the festival, there's a program book, and it will show you every program and the runtime for every film, so you can kind of plan oh gosh, this film I'm not liking, it's 10 minutes long, I'm gonna just come back and.
Well, I was gonna say, what's the minimum length that was submitted?
We have a film that's 30 seconds. It'll play on opening night. It's called Pickles La. It's the second film.
What's the longest that was entered?
And then the longest, we actually have a 24-hour film that will be shown as an installation instead of, as a screening in the theater. It'll be in the Aquarium Gallery at the Ann Arbor Art Center. And it's by Jex Blackmore from Detroit. and it's called An Undue Burden, anyway, and that'll be viewable on the street 24/7.
Okay.
So that's the longest one we have.
That's kind of neat.
30 seconds to 24 hours.
Okay.
I would say on average, with the short films in competition, I would say like 8 to 10 minutes is a typical average amount of time.
Okay.
Yeah, and the feature films are 60 to 90 minutes.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about the passes and tickets.
Yeah, so you can purchase individual tickets for shows online. You can also purchase them right at the box office. I think they are $12 per ticket.
Okay.
For students and seniors and members, it's $8. The Almost All Ages program, however, is only $6 because we want to encourage families to come.
Okay.
We also have a free program, which is our music videos and competition program this year, which will be Wednesday, March 25th. It's at 5 o'clock at University of Michigan Museum of Art in their auditorium there, and that's a free program. So, so that's tickets. If you get a festival pass, and they are on sale right now for $125. They'll go up on March 1st to $150. I'm not sure when this is airing, but
that's fine.
Yeah,
That's
$150
fine.
for a pass. That gets you into everything. You can go to go to opening night party. You can go to all of the films in competition programs, all the special programs. You can go to the after parties with that pass. It's a pretty good deal. $100 for students and seniors. Yeah, for that pass. Yeah.
Okay.
We also have a weekend pass, which is it costs a little less, and it covers Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All that information is on aafilmfest.org.
I was going to say, this is all online, and you can buy your tickets in advance. You can buy them at the door.
Yeah.
You can buy individual. You can buy family, it sounds like. So you have everything covered. Everything, all the options covered. That's fantastic. Obviously, you guys have been doing this for a while.
58 years now.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. So we're going to watch some films today that are entered and going to be showing. But we're just going to watch some snippets.
Yeah.
The first one here, TX Reverse, shows the collision of reality and cinema and draws its viewers into a vortex in which the familiar order of space and time seem to be suspended. And I did watch this today. So everyone, let's watch TX Reverse. Okay, Leslie, that was mind blown. That was the creativity that I'm seeing from these films I'm just like blown away. Because how does someone think to make that? That was so neat.
Right.
And whatever animation and whatever these programs that these filmmakers are using it's amazing to a non-filmmaker. This one was really
the filmmakers developed a technology to do that with.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. We had one of our screeners look at it and think it was like a kind of a canned, oh, you might have that already in Final Cut Pro or whatever. But we confirmed that it was actually quite unique. And I don't know what other applications they've used it for, but I really love this film because it says so much about our festival. We kind of have had this tagline, Bending Minds, since 1963, and I think it really speaks to that. And I love that it shows the audience in the picture, and it's kind of very apropos to the kind of film festival we are.
Totally, I did definitely. I think it was good to specifically show this one because you're in the theater, so it kind of ties in a sense. I thought it was neat. It was a good one to pick for sure. So we're going to watch another one. It's called Why Can't I Be Me Around You? This film follows Rusty on this difficult journey of embracing and exhibiting both genders while still hoping for acceptance with love. So let's watch Why Can't I Be Me Around You?
Since my transition and my divorce, I'm back to my little house that I originally moved into in 1975. During the 80s, I worked in my dad's laundromat cleaning the laundry every morning, and I had access to women's clothing. And then I got married, and when my wife would go out of town, well, I'd break out my little brown bag of clothing, and I could be myself when my wife was out of town. I'd put my makeup on, I'd put my female clothing on, and I felt so complete. And I would have to take it all off to be male Rusty again. And my wife came home from her parents' house on New Year's Eve of 2004. And we were laying in bed, and I told her I just couldn't stay in the closet anymore.
Another film, amazing. I can see why this one was definitely picked and screened and going to be shown. It speaks to an audience, specific audience, and hopefully a more broad audience will watch it, but it definitely made me want to watch more. So the fact that these are just snippets that we're getting, I think is, obviously a marketing tool for the teases, but it definitely can grab someone in a sense very quickly.
Yeah.
And this one, it's a heavy topic.
And he's quite a compelling character. He really is.
Yeah.
And this film will show on Wednesday night at 9:30.
Okay.
It's going to follow. We have a Films in Competition Out Night program for LGBTQ. So
Okay.
kind of for folks who want to make a whole night of it. Interestingly, the filmmaker Herod Blank is the son of a pretty infamous filmmaker, Les Blank, who made a lot of documentaries about food and music, and both of them have shown in the Ann Arbor Film Festival in the past. So,
Okay.
interestingly, the filmmaker Herod Blank, I think how he found Rusty is he's an art car guy.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he had
right.
this van with all the cameras on it, and he broke down somewhere around Albuquerque, and he somehow found Rusty, who worked on his van and fixed it, and then he ended up making a film about him.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's just right timing, right place.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good film. So.
Yeah, and I would just say, I think one of the things that's important to us at the festival is showing a broad array of stories.
Sure.
There are lots of things outside of what we're used to in the mainstream, and
Right.
we want to give a platform to all of those different voices.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, I can just tell in these first two films that we've just shown, yeah, you can definitely tell there's some, different platforms.
Yes,
different
some
audiences.
alternative there.
Well, this next one is called the Giverny Document. The Giverny Document is a multi-textured cinematic poem that meditates on the safety and bodily autonomy of Black women. So let's watch the Giverny Document.
Feelings, come on. Whoa, 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 feelings. Whoa, 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 feelings. Again in my heart. Again. Feelings, feelings that I never met you, feelings that I never even saw you. Again in my heart.
Okay, Leslie, another fantastic film, the Giverny document, which is French, so I think I'm pronouncing this correctly. But another amazing film. I think, again, this is amazing. I don't know how anyone can, like, why would you go to night one and not go to all 6 nights of this film festival? Because I think you're going to be blown away. These are great films.
There are a lot of films playing that are bringing so many different perspectives and ways of telling, and I think this is a great example of that. It's by Jatovia Gary, who has shown in the Ann Arbor Film Festival before.
Okay.
And this is kind of a longer, I think, I want to say it's maybe a 35-minute film.
Okay.
So it's like what we would call a medium format. And I think she's bringing out really important expression and thought about Black women.
Sure.
And how do they feel in society? Do they feel safe, like in their own body? And this film is so interesting because she combines some documentary. She's got on-the-street interviews, but then there are a lot of experimental elements to it, and then she uses some archival footage.
Okay, because the part I watched, she was on the street and she was stopping these women. Some of them would stop, some of them would not, which is common, and I know. And
Sure.
You don't. Someone sticks a microphone in your face, you'd always, like, why are you talking to me? But yeah, it was interesting to hear this one lady say why she's a larger, curvier woman, and she felt uncomfortable in the streets of New York, and I was kind of like, what? Why? I can't relate. I didn't understand, but it was nice to see it and to hear it, and it puts a different perspective on things.
Yeah.
We all look different. How that makes people feel out in society.
Right.
So I definitely was like.
She really interweaves all of these threads with that because she's talking about a lot of the problems we've had with the police and people of color. There's some actual footage, famous footage that she's interwoven in there. It's very disconcerting and moving, but the way that she sort of takes those things and then brings some very experimental elements to it, I think she does it really well. And a lot of the times, like for me, I'm still digesting this film. Like I don't really I can't tell you exactly everything that it's about, but I think that's one of the great things about many of the films we show. They're not really easy sometimes.
Yeah.
And you might watch it once and think one thing, and if you get a chance to see it again, it might reveal something else, or you might just, might come back to you in your memory.
Absolutely.
And,
a lot of these filmmakers, do they attend?
They do, and that's a great question.
Yeah.
Last year, I know we had about 100 filmmakers in town.
Okay.
I think we're expecting similar.
Okay.
So we love to encourage the audience to be aware, and they're here to experience their work on the big screen and to talk to the audience, to you, the audience, and they love to interact and love to tell you more or hear what your thoughts are. So you might be sitting next to one in the theater, or you might be standing in line at a local restaurant behind with them, and we just encourage folks to,
Do they preview their show? Like, do they get up and give a...
That's a great question. So we have a Q&A at the end of every program, and whatever filmmakers are present are invited to come up on the stage, and the audience can ask questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Leslie, so real quick, we're going to wrap up. We're almost out of time, of course. So why should people attend the Ann Arbor Film Festival 2020?
I think, this is, as I mentioned before, this is a world-class festival, and it's at the top of the game. It's been here for 58 years, and it's right here in your backyard. For most people, I would say, probably 75% of our attendees come from right here. And I know that, it's not for everybody. And I also know that I know people who, when I first met them, they told me it's not for me. But over the years, people have come around. We just have a new board member who was one of those people, like, I'm a filmmaker, this is not for me, and now she's so enthusiastic. She's like, how can I help you raise money?
Oh, okay.
So, sometimes it might take a little while to sink in, but it is worth it. This is like the cream of the crop. These are the best art films that are out there, and they're coming right here to Ann Arbor.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on another
you.
year.
Thank you.
Yes, we're happy to partner with you guys and wish
We
you
really
all,
appreciate it.
Yes, wish you all the success.
Thank you.
So again, thanks for watching. And to watch this and other CTN programs, visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor. And remember to comment, like, and share. I'm Melissa Bondi for Let's Watch with the Ann Arbor Film Festival. Thanks for watching.